Hello, everybody. It has been a while. It's been a while. Let me turn up my volume. Yeah, let me turn up my volume. It's been a while since I've done a Facebook Live. Hello, everybody. This is Suzette Viernon. I am your life coach, your relationship solutionist, and it's been a while. It's been a while since I've done a Facebook Live. To be honest with you, the reason that I hadn't is because with the turn of the new year, I had not really felt motivated because I didn't want to just do Facebook Lives because it was the norm or out of a sense of obligation. I only wanted to do it if I felt like I had something really to say, that I really wanted to say, that I felt like would be beneficial to you. See, if this is the first time that you have come across me, as I said, I am a life coach and a relationship solutionist. I am the creator of what I've called the music math approach to dating and relating, and it's built on three critical factors. I call them three critical factors of enoughness, and they are your voice, your value, and your vision. I feel like I have lived for a little while. I turned 60 this past December, and in my observation of life and love, I have found that most of the time when we question our enoughness or we doubt ourselves, it's usually because there is something lacking in one of those three areas. And so it has become my passion, an extension of my purpose to help you to redefine what makes you enough in life, what makes you enough in love, on your own terms, to help you define it on your own terms, and to really give you the tools to do so, to challenge any blind spots, to challenge the dissonance between what you say and what you do, and to challenge anything that tells you that you're not enough, any definition that anybody else has written for you that makes you question it. I am here to say, hold up. I'm here to be a reminder that you were born enough, you are enough, and you will always be enough. As a matter of fact, you're more than enough. And so now that I have had a chance to kind of get used to being 60 and get used to 2020, this is our first quarter in the new year, and also to kind of get my bearings on what took all of us by surprise, and that was the coronavirus pandemic. I had to take a little while. I saw people panicking. I saw images of people fighting over toilet paper. I got a flood of emails from different people assuring me that things were not going to change, that things were going to stay the same, and all would be well, and life would go on, and don't you worry, I'm going to deliver the same services, the same products that you have come to appreciate and have come to depend on. And even though there was a flood of a lot of things going on, my inner wisdom kicked in. And it said, hold on, just pace yourself. Don't do anything quickly. Don't make any rash movements. Pace yourself. I do have to say that this platform for Facebook Live has changed a little bit, and as a result of it, I can't see your comments. So if you have them, please feel free to comment. Please feel free to share. Please feel free, and I promise you, when I'm done, I will go through each comment and I will reply to it. But right now, I am not able to see anything except for me. So just know that I appreciate any of you who are tuning in. I know some of you are tuning in from home because you're either working from home or sadly your business, your company, the places that you've worked have had to stop for a little while, and you found yourself at home trying to figure out this new normal. And I'm right here with you. And I actually was thinking about, even as I was thinking about hitting the play button, I thought about what I could say. Oh, I can see you. Hi, Jason. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, wonderful. I can see you. Wonderful. Fabulous. So if you're here, say something. It's great. Wonderful. It's been a while, Jason. I haven't been on Facebook Live for a minute, and I've noticed the platform has changed just a little bit, but it's really kind of cool. But anyway, what I was saying was I didn't want to get caught up in the frenzy. And I understand when you're turning on your television, you look at your cell phone, you're on your electronic device, you are being bombarded by reports and images that could cause even the most chill person to panic. But something inside of me, and maybe something I've cultivated over time, you don't get to be past a certain age and live through some difficulties without learning not to panic over every little thing. You learn that there are some things that you can control, and there are others that you can't. Hi, Alma. Thank you so much for joining. And this was one of those things. The coronavirus pandemic came in like, if I was Miley Cyrus, I would be singing, I came in like a wrecking ball, right? It just took us all by surprise. And life is like that sometimes, but I had to kind of steady my nerves, not make any rash movements or any rash promises. And I know when we're trying so hard not to lose our customers, not to lose our place in the world, we start saying, I promise you this will happen. I promise you can depend on. But the truth of the matter is, some things happen in life where you can't make promises. It would be irresponsible to make promises until you get a sense of where you are. Unique to our situation here, however, is things are changing by the second. They're changing by the minute. I can go to sleep one night, wake up the next morning, and breaking news is something completely different. You can be thinking you're going in this direction. You wake up the next morning, it's pivoted. And so the new normal is to learn to pivot and to bless. That's what I woke up with this morning as I was meditating and anticipating my new normal day, how I would go about things. And that came to me, bless your new normal. Bless it. The reason why you need to bless it is because no matter how you feel about it, some things are beyond your control. And for us high achieving, mission driven, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps kind of people, that can be very unnerving. Very unnerving, because we get up with the erroneous belief that we are controlling our own destinies, that we are controlling, we are in control. And to a certain extent, that was me. And to a certain extent, it still is. There are certain things that I can control, namely how I respond to things. That is well within my ability to control. I can't control other people. I can't control who the virus touches and who it doesn't. I can't control that. I can be responsible. I can be mindful. I can make wiser decisions. But other things I cannot control. And so as I woke up and I was pondering how I was going to go about things, how I was going to coach, what was going to be my approach to coaching, what was going to be my approach to speaking, what was going to be my approach to areas in my life that were either purposeful and or a part of my revenues, how I was going to do that. And I know that's very much on the minds of people. How am I going to preserve my life, stay safe, stay healthy, stay whole, and how am I going to live? How am I going to make money, make revenues, take what I have, make it work? What those two things are coming up for us. How am I going to live? How am I going to get through this? And if I focus on God, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? It can really, when you don't have the answers, it can cause you to have anxiety. If that's your focus, it can cause you to get scared if that's your focus. And so I'm so grateful that when I woke up this morning, because I've been asking God, how do I do this? How do I do this new normal? How do I make it through without gnawing off my arm? How do I do it? And I heard in my heart, bless your new normal. And in blessing your new normal has to be release, right? And bless. Release and bless. Well, Suzette, what do you need to release? Release the way you used to do things. I'm a part of multiple groups on Facebook. Some of them I didn't put myself in, but a few of them I agreed. As a matter of fact, I joined myself. And in one of the groups, we were talking about how people, especially people who coach or who have a certain way that they go about things, how they're lamenting, well, I coach one-on-one or I have to, that human touch to touch, that kind of thing. They were looking at the way they normally do things. And we're basically in this state of, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make it? How am I? And the truth was, because it ain't even that we have to accept or prepare for, we are already in a new normal. Right? That's the first. We are already in it. Like it or not, we're already in it. And so they were talking about, how am I going to do this, because this is the way I do it. This is my brand. It's built on this. How am I going to do it? And our facilitator, our leader, was saying, you're going to have to broaden your vision. That's part of blessing your new normal. You're going to have to broaden your vision. You're going to have to let go of some things. Case in point, I'll give you a perfect example. Yesterday, my husband and I, it was the first time we went together to go grocery shopping. Like I said, I wasn't going to rush. I wasn't going to panic. I wasn't going to do it. When things like this happen, I power down. Be it good, be it bad, I've learned to power down. And I'm not rushing. I'm not going to rush to the supermarket. I'm not rushing. I'm not stockpiling. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stabilize, get a sense of things. And so yesterday was the first day. It was the first day I had gone to the grocery store with my husband. And we talked about, before we even left, we talked about what to expect. And I said, hon, 9 times out of 10, we're going to get there. And they're not going to have some of the things we have on this list. Because we didn't want to be around people for a long time, out of their safety as well as our own, we went on and made a list of the things we wanted to have, just in case we were going to have to be in for a while. Yes, Terry. Yes, stabilize. Exactly. So, hey, we are cut from the, maybe it's a 60s thing. I don't know. I think we ladies in our 60s, we bad to the bone. Anyway, but I digress. But I thought about it, and so we made a list, and I said to my husband, we may get there, and there may not be things on our list. So we'll have to make a decision now, not to, get there and go crazy because it's not there. But we might have to just pivot and say they don't have this, but they have that. Right? Or we have to decide whether we want to waste all our gas going from grocery store to grocery store to grocery store, trying to find that one item that in the grand scheme of things, we really can live without. So we kind of had this conversation, and we knew we were going to go to one place. We knew we were going to go to a grocery store in a small town. We knew we were going to go at a time when normally a lot of people don't go. And we knew that if they didn't have what we wanted, we were going to go to one other place. And we did that. When we got there, it was very interesting because we had to remind each other once we got there. And if any of you are vegan, please just get the wisdom behind this. Don't tune me out because I'm getting ready to talk about chicken, okay? Because I'm getting ready to talk about chicken. One of the things on our items was chicken. We like thighs, and if they don't have thighs, we might go drumsticks. If they don't have drumsticks, we might go chicken breast. But I love thighs. So on our list was chicken. We went to the meat counter. Not one, or as somebody could say, not nary packet of chicken thighs. I took a breath and I was like, Now this is the thing that's interesting. I did not grow up with chicken thighs already prepackaged. I grew up buying the whole chicken. And though I hated it, my mom taught me how to cut up a chicken. I did not like it. I hated it. But guess what? They did have whole chickens. Now, the question is, am I going to drive somewhere else in hopes I can find packets of thighs? Or am I going to get the whole chicken? Right? And I'm saying this to say, we're going to have to adopt a different way of doing things. Sure, there are things that are creature comforts and modern conveniences that we were used to. But guess what? Even when the pandemic is over, our lives will never go back to 100% the way we used to do things. And one of the clarion calls of the group that I was in was, now is not the time to try to decide if you're going to take advantage of the internet, if you're going to go online. It's here. For some of you, unless you learn how to release the old and bless your new normal, you will suffer. Because this, I believe, y'all, and I think part of the reason that I can stabilize is because you realize that regardless of the picture that people paint, there is no lack. I know y'all might not. You might go, Suzette, you've lost your doggone mind. But I got to use my voice to broaden your mindset and to raise your expectation. That's what I do. And that's not limited to a certain coaching paradigm. That's not limited to a certain stage. That's not limited to the way I used to do things. My voice is still my voice. And I want you to catch the wisdom that I'm getting ready to lay on you right now. There is no shortage. Stay with me here. The only thing is your ability to see things differently, to take inventory of what's around you that can meet the need. I'm going to tell you why I say that. If you look at the shelves and if you listen to the reports say there is a shortage of hand sanitizer. And people are freaking out about it, right? But I dare say there's not a shortage of hand sanitizer. There is a shortage of people who have not delved into their creativity, into their giftedness, to be able to tap into their divine source that is limitless, that resides inside of them. The divine that created you is never lacking in any capacity. And if we can tap into our divine resourcefulness, there is no shortage. I'll give you an example. I was listening to TV the other day, and I love the fact that beyond all the breaking news of all the bad news, there comes a story of people standing in their divinity, standing in their purpose, that come up with creative ways. Because they say necessity is the mother of invention. Oh yes, oh yes. And so I was listening as this distillery, this whiskey maker, was taking the byproduct that is high in alcohol and starting to create hand sanitizer. Very fascinated with the story, I got up this morning and I started Googling it. And I started reading article after article of how distilleries are talking to each other about ways to use what would be considered the waste. I want you to hear me. The waste that they normally use just to clean up after creating the whiskeys and the gins. They're able to use the waste to create something that people need right now. They're able to do it. All over this globe, people are discovering their own abilities to meet a need. There is no shortage, y'all. There is no shortage. And so, interestingly, when I read this story about 10th Mountain, the owner of 10th Mountain, a whiskey maker, came upon this article that talked about a distillery in Oregon that was making hand sanitizer, right? And they found that they could do it, okay? Well, they weren't the only ones. Someone else was reading this article. Coincidentally, somebody in the emergency response arena was reading this same article and reached out. Well, as life would have it, I would say as divine influence would have it, they began to talk to each other. And the person that does the emergency responding said, listen, we're running out of hand sanitizer. And they ended up talking, and the whiskey maker said, well, we have the ability to make it. We just don't have bottles, right? This is so good. And so she started scouring the area trying to get bottles. Well, she got bottles, shipped them to the whiskey maker. He was able to fill 75 containers and get them to her. And what that brought up for me was one of the 7 habits of highly effective people by the author Stephen Covey. I have an old copy with dust on it. Blow the dust off. You look at the 7th habit, which is called synergize. And I wrote it down so that I could read it to you. Synergize means to adopt the guiding principle that in a group, the contributions of many will far exceed those of any individual. Listen, those of you who are hoarding and stockpiling and all that, that might help you and your family alone, right? But that's a lack mentality, y'all. And that does not, in history, that does not ensure ultimate survival. Because ultimately, you're going to run out. Right? Let's think about this. This is not something that just is happening just to one person. It is happening across the world. You cannot escape it. So either you're going to quiver and shake, bite off all your fingernails, lose your hair, isolate yourself from everybody in an unhealthy, toxic way, or you're going to synergize. That's what these people did. That's what the whiskey maker and the emergency response person, who knew that they could synergize and join forces to create something that can meet a need bigger than them as individuals. So if you don't leave with anything else from what I've said today, is bless your new normal. That's a way you bless it. Sure, elbow bumping. That's being responsible. Sure, maintaining your distance and spacing. That's being responsible, right? But isolating yourself, hoarding, and not allowing the brilliance that's inside of you just waiting to be touched by the divine, just waiting for a God idea, just waiting for you to put yourself in a position mentally and emotionally for a bright idea, the abundance of ideas to touch you because you are a willing, open vessel. I mean, listen, don't sell yourself cheap. You have the ability to help someone. My mother-in-law was able to help someone because she was able to share what she had. Y'all, this is the time. This is the time that will separate those, I would say, the men from the boys, the women from the little girls. This is the time to synergize, not just so you can make more money off of somebody else's pain. Because I have to call that out too. Some of us are wearing a face like we really care. But in our hearts, we just want to benefit off of somebody else's fear and somebody else's greed. I'm not talking to y'all. I'm talking to people who have a heart of service, who can see that they are greater together than they are by themselves. That would be willing to say, you know what, let me look around. Let me look around. And I'm even speaking to those of you who might be in situations where you're all alone. You might be in situations where you can't reach out to other people. You might be, but understand, there is still not a lack. I'm reminded of Nelson Mandela, who found himself in solitary confinement. He found himself cut off from the world that he used to know. He found himself in an imprisoned situation. And even in solitary, he was able to broaden his mindset and to find inside a power and an abundance that he did not even know he had. He was able to open his mind by ingesting knowledge that reminded him that he was bigger than his situation. I want you to hear me. No matter where you find yourself, you are bigger than your current situation. And the way that you discover and uncover it is you expose yourself to something bigger than just your individuality. In solitary, his exposing himself to bigger was reading books that reminded him of who he was, whose he was, and why he was. Through reading books, he was able to open up his mind to think broader. He was able to consider his brothers. He was able to consider his power, and did not know that while he was building himself up, edifying himself, multiplying the resources, his inner resources, that outside people were fighting for his release. And I say to you, if you're a person of faith, I want you to understand that while you are being reminded, while you are cultivating your inner resources, your inner resourcefulness, while you are blessing your current situation, the universe is working on your behalf. The universe, where there is no lack, where there is no shortage, there is not a shortage. You can get a God idea just like that, that can change the trajectory of your life. That if you're thinking you're living from paycheck to paycheck, can jettison your life to the point that when you come out of this, not only have you blessed other people, but by blessing other people, you have stumbled into millions that you didn't even know that you could access. There is no shortage. When I look outside my window, there is no shortage of trees. There is no shortage of houses. There is no shortage. When I walk outside my door, there is no shortage. The only thing I have to do is, God, how do I access it? Sometimes he'll show me how to access it externally. Sometimes he'll show me by giving me an aha idea how to access it, how to access my inner resources. So I hope you all hear the wisdom. It might be disjointed, it might be fractured, because I did not make myself a cue card that I could read from. I wanted this to come from my gift. I wanted this to come from the divine voice inside of me. So if it's a little fragmented, forgive that. If I started out slow, forgive that. Catch the wisdom. It's good for your mental health. Understand, you can bless your new normal when you understand that you are not limited. You are not limited. You can synergize and impact the world. You can synergize, and God can give you an idea, a divine idea that can change the trajectory of your life. Bless this moment and open up your mind. Release what is past. Release it. Grieve it quickly. Release it. And step into your new normal. Bless it. Bless your new normal. Wake up every morning thankful. Thankful that as long as you're alive, there are possibilities. There are opportunities for you to use your voice, for you to expand your vision, for you to add value, for you to be value. Don't let lack and fear and scarcity, don't let the illusion cause you to sabotage this moment. I'm not a person that deals in fantasy. I'm not a person that deals in fantasy. So when I tell you that there is no shortage, I'm not dealing in fantasy. I'm dealing in the very fact that the very seat that you sit on, the very computer or cell phone that you're listening to me through, it was in the realm of possibilities, just waiting for the right time and waiting for the right vessel to dream a dream bigger than where they are. And as long as there are human beings in this world that have divinity inside of them, there is no shortage. There is no shortage. It's just waiting. There are just ideas waiting for their time to come. For some of you, this is the time. This is the time. Bless your new normal. I hope this blesses you. It's blessing me. And when I get finished, I'm going to read all the comments. But bless your new normal. Start out your day. Find reasons to bless your new normal. Stabilize. No matter what you hear of the numbers going up, bless your new normal. Bless your new normal. Quiet yourself. Calm yourself. God can use you. The divine can use you to be a blessing. I cannot promise you of what's going to happen. I cannot promise you I'll be here tomorrow. But if I bless my new normal and use my time to bless others and impact the world, then my life will not have been in vain and my time will not have been wasted. So instead of trying so hard, worrying about, oh God, am I going to live? Oh God, am I going to die? Instead of wasting your time with something that is not within your control, use whatever resources that are at your disposal. Use them. Use them. Synergize. And let's get through this. And if I should pass tomorrow, I believe in my heart, I've made a deposit, not just in the lives that I've touched, skin to skin, but what I've left on the internet, what I've left in books. Start thinking about what can outlive you, that can continue to speak, that can continue to bless, that can continue to empower, that can continue to broaden and to shape and to speak to generations that are yet to come. Let's synergize, y'all. Bless your new normal. I could go on, I could go on, I could go on, because it's in my heart. But I want you to go out and live your life because you are worthy. You're worth it, and you are more than enough. Take your time. Sit within the seat of your purview. Find a way to synergize and bless your new normal. Love y'all. Bye.